On Netflix, I watched from 1988, An American Tail. Yes, that's T-A-I-L. For some reason, I thought it was T-A-L-E this whole time. Oh no, must be a Mandela effect. Is that what we're calling this? Right? Yeah. So, that was on the tip of my tongue for some reason. Anyways, this is a movie I wanted to take a look at because on my Netflix account, looking on the Xbox One's app, it has this rated or suggested rating 2 out of 5 stars. And I'm thinking, what? I thought people thought of this as a classic of sorts. Well, it starts off, we're in the 1800s. We have this Jewish mouse family, the Mousekewitz, living in Russia. They're very poor. There's some guys show up into the town, start burning the place down, and their attack cats are with them. And this is supposed to be like some Jewish identity thing here. They mention Happy Hanukkah, and that's as far as they go with that. They plot to head to America. They get on a boat, but there's some trouble at sea, and the youngest mouse, well, not the youngest, is he youngest at this point? I'm not totally sure. Did they have a tiny baby mouse? They do in the second one. I'm getting to that later. So, Fievel, he's the lead of the movie here. He gets tossed overboard. He ends up in a bottle and finds his way over to the Statue of Liberty. The rest of the family has checked in with immigration, and they're getting their names changed around. Tanya. It's like, why'd they want to call me Tina now? Tanya, the sister of Fievel, that is. The family's like, we think he's dead. But he wants to look for his family. So that's really the majority of what goes on in this movie is Fievel looking for his family and me running away from people who have kids. Itch. So he comes across a few people, and there are some songs in this. They had a song about there are no cats in America as they're on their boat. This, I think it was a pigeon that befriends Fievel, talks to him, has some song about never say never, and just little things like that. These are tiny little song moments. It's not really a musical. Not really a lot of breaking out into tune. But as our movie goes along, we have Fievel gets taken to this guy, Warren T. Rat, who then takes him to become like a day laborer. And there's a lot about the immigrant identity in America. You know, they're building the Statue of Liberty, and that really seems to be the big thing about here. It's an American tale. It's not necessarily about Americans. It's about immigrants coming to America, and maybe the way they're let down in some ways. So he's basically held hostage, meets another mouse there. They sneak out, because he had this plan to tie bed sheets together. And he's looking around. They have a song bit. Somewhere out there beneath the pale moonlight. Yeah, the kid's not really a singer. And his sister sings along too. Kind of like as they're missing each other. It's a cute little moment. It's not really set up to be this grand musical. But this is a Don Bluth film. This is a guy who makes the darker children's animated movies of the time in the 80s. And I feel like in a lot of ways this is Rats of Nim, or rather Secret of Nim Redux. It's dark, there's mice, not a lot of sunshine, zero real happy type stuff. And this movie was a hit. I mean, it made 140 million, but I guess I wasn't really prepared for the reviews. More on that in a minute. So, eventually they got these cats in America problem. Even though they were lied to, they heard rumor there were no cats in America. No, it turns out there's plenty of cats in America. They're just as bad as the Russian cats. And they have this plan to get rid of them. They're going to hijack these boats headed to China, trick the cats aboard, have them go overseas. I don't like going through all this water here. Shoot, I'm going to turn around and go back through the water. Don't want to do that. So, yep, God dang it, I'm gonna ruin my shoes. We have this situation where Fievel and his family keep running into each other when they don't realize it. It was Fievel's idea to get this giant mouse of minx or something. Minx, I think it is. This contraption to scare the cats, and that was his plan, but his family doesn't realize it at the time in the movie. And this warranty rat guy, he was actually a cat in disguise. I don't know how this snuck past the mice in the crowd so much, because how good is there, looking into it too much here, how good can they build a prosthetic mouse rat nose for a cat to wear in this cartoon world? I don't know, this kind of left up to you guys. Then we have, maybe this was from 1986 now that I think about it. Hey, I'm doing this review and I don't have notes in front of me. But I hadn't seen this movie in some 30 years. Like, I know I watched part of this in a theater. Vaguely recall it. And that's really about it. Well, in the film, they eventually trick these cats, but Fievel gets captured when he finds out the identity of Warranty Rat. And he befriends one of the henchmen, Tiger, this fluffy orange cat, voiced by Don Bluth, who shows up quite late in the movie. And as he's keeping an eye on him, they find out that they have something in common, and they sing this song about how they're a duo. Again, there's songs in the movie, but they're not the strongest of songs here. And even this being a light one, it's still quite dark. I mean, everywhere in this movie, something's black. So, it's a bit depressing for kids. Tiger helps him escape, and then kind of off camera gets fired by Warranty Rat. And he's like, good, I quit anyways, or something like this. Then we really don't see him during the big climax, where the rats, or the cats rather, are being chased off by the giant mouse. They go into the ships, and they're headed to China. But then Tiger sees these people looking for Fievel and gives them a ride, and eventually they cross paths, only this time they actually realize it, and there we are, the family's united. And this movie, I kind of feel like it doesn't get its just due, maybe in part because it's about mice. I have to think maybe there's a bit of a conspiracy here with Disney. They have Mickey Mouse. Maybe they can't stand to have anybody else have a mouse animated film that does well or stands the test of time in any regard. And so that's why you don't hear about American Tail these days. Little did I know, looking this up, that there were actually not only Fievel Goes West after this in 1991, but 2 direct-to-video sequels in like 99 and 2000, and never really heard about those. I worked in a video store at a time where I think I would have saw these. I recall there being a lot of Land Before Time videos, but not this. And also, in regard to the way the movie's reviewed, the criticism really varied. I guess people said that the animation was good but not great. And I thought, it's probably better than that said at the time, especially out of Disney entries, contemporaries, until, say, The Little Mermaid jumps on the scene. But we also have these Jewish critics who are appalled that this is a movie where finally we have the animated hero is Jewish, but not Jewish enough. It's like on Seinfeld. Would you rate the show Jewish, too Jewish, or not Jewish enough? And that's what they had here. Gene Siskel seemed to be very upset that the movie didn't embrace and knock you over the head with the Jewish identity. I see nothing wrong with him saying, hey, this is the character, and judge him by his actions, not him constantly yammering about, oh, it's so tough being Jewish here. No, it's tough for the immigrants. Is that not good enough for you? But I do like this film. It's a little brief, but, maybe this wasn't necessarily made for kids. Think about this kids' movies at the time. This is this was at a time where kids' movies were actually pretty good. But still, you had every once in a while, oh, I don't want to be the parent who has to go to the kids' movie. Well, here's one where maybe the parents can actually stick it out. You know, there's a different kind of stuff going on here. This guy, Honest John, this rat, I mean, his whole thing is that he isn't that honest. Oh, but he has the nickname Honest John. Or he's a mouse, but some mouse died. He's like, oh, he's too young to vote. Oh, but don't worry, he'll vote for me anyways. Dead. You know, a lot of unscrupulous stuff's going on. A lot of people taking advantage of immigrants. Was this really for kids? And making an animated film with a bunch of kid-looking characters, it's not for kids. You know, I guess critics weren't ready to handle that, huh? Makes you wonder if Batman Begins came out in the 80s, if they've been able to handle that. Now, I give An American Tale 3 out of 4 stars.